And we back. What's up, y'all? We are here to discuss Big Brother Season 27, Episode 5 and 6. Now, let me say this. I knew when CBS said that we were going to have these hour-and-a-half long episodes on Wednesday nights, that there was going to be a lot of fluff. But the flip side of it is we do get to see some of the other stuff that's going on in the house other than the gameplay. At the end of the day, Big Brother is a social experiment where we put a group of people who've never met before, I put that in parentheses, a group of strangers in a house for however many days, 90 days, however long this situation lasts, and see what organically happens when you put them in a pressure cooker situation where you add competition and all of that stuff, right? So it's kind of cute to see some of the silly stuff that goes on. I don't know if I want to see it for the whole season. I don't know if I need to see it every episode. But last night's episode, when we got to see Ava and her fake working out, that was cute. It was funny. It was a ha-ha. When we got to see something else happened last night that I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. That scene with them talking to Will about his service, I was here for it. And I don't know if we would have necessarily have gotten that. But it was a moment. I loved seeing it. I loved hearing Will talk about his service and his experience in Iraq, and because that's real. And when we talk about how these people get to be so close so fast, and a lot of them become lifelong friends, because imagine being in a situation where you can't do anything else but talk to these people 24 hours a day. No phone, no computer. You can't even have a book unless it's connected to your religious beliefs, right? You are forced to talk to these people. So you probably do end up telling them your whole life story, your deepest, darkest secrets. You complain about your spouse. You talk about your kids. You talk about your hopes and dreams. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand how people can get in a showmance and come out of the house and be like, I love this person. Because that's like, you don't have the distractions of work and all of these other things that we have to deal with every day that keep us away from really getting deep with people all the time. So I get it, and I love seeing it. And I think it also helps us see how these people get to be so close so fast with each other, right? Anyway, I just wanted to say that. So Kelly and Ava can go. Let me tell you something, Cajun. I love Ava on the live feeds. And I don't watch a lot of the live feeds. I catch a lot of clips on TikTok. Ava's funny. Ava is absolutely funny. I don't know if we're going to see it. I feel like Ava's going to be there for a couple of weeks because Ava's keeping, at least from where we can sit, Ava's sort of keeping out of the drama. So I feel like we might get a chance to get some of that about Ava, but Ava's actually funny. On the live feeds, she's actually hilarious. And her and Will are actually really close. They're actually really, I've seen a few clips with the two of them talking and stuff. They seem to be like they're really close. Y'all know that word on the curb is, the rumor is that Ava and Jimmy are 2/3 of the triplets. You know, Jimmy's a triplet. And y'all know that one of the rumors was that they're going to be triplets. There's some sort of triplet situation. And allegedly Jimmy and Ava are brother and sister. Don't know that to be a fact. Y'all know when it comes to Big Brother, it's always a rumor. So who knows? Yeah, somebody actually even went back and was able to find old pictures that Jimmy had kind of, I guess somebody was able to dig deep far enough into his Facebook or Instagram or something. And they found a picture. Let me see if I can I find, because the picture of his sister actually does favor Ava. I don't know if it's the same person, but they do favor. Let me see if I can find it, because I think I sent it in the group chat, the Big Brother group chat. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Big Brother. Let me see if it's in here. No. Maybe, did I send it? Hold on. Hold on. Let me go into my favorites. Is this it right here? Oh, I must not have it in my favorites. Okay, never mind. But it was a whole thing. No, I don't see it here. But anyway, it's just a rumor. And again, they do look alike because the picture, the Jimmy's sister in the picture, she does favor Ava, but she has a tan, unlike Ava, who's very pale. And they do have similar features. But I can't say it is her, but they do have similar features. Anyway, moving right along, let's get into this. So on Sunday night's episode, the bun of the Burger Boys is gone, and Zach is in the diary room crying his ass off. Like, now I just got finished saying I understand how these people get so close so fast, but even with that, that was excessive, Zach. I'm sorry, that was a little excessive, but maybe not. And then they basically spend the first 15 minutes of this episode trying to figure out who was the rogue voter. They know that somebody from their alliance had to vote to keep Amy and to vote out Zay. But they don't know who it is. And y'all know how it goes on Big Brother. When they don't know who voted, now it becomes a detective game. And now they got to figure out who did it and who and I don't punish them. But it was Riley, and of course Riley is lying straight to everybody's face. He's actually a really good liar. Oh, that's the other thing. Baby, word on the curb is Riley is owes back child support, and there's a whole case waiting for him when he get out of the Big Brother house. Baby, they waiting to serve him with paperwork. That's what I had heard too. That Riley got a whole baby mama out here that's mad. But he gonna be bringing home some Big Brother money, so maybe that'll help him get out of arrears with his child support, because they get paid for being on the show, and the longer they stay on the show, the more money they make. So maybe he gonna walk out of here with some money to pay you. But that's what I had heard too. So anyway, Keanu has decided that is Will. Even though Will looked him dead in his face and said it's not me, the same way Riley looked him dead in his face and said it wasn't me. I don't know why he felt like Will was lying and Riley was telling the truth. So then he decides to run around the house and tell everybody that it was Will, it was Will, it was Will, it was Will. So of course it got back to Will, and Will was like, hold up. Excuse me. But Will was like, hold up, I'm too old to be doing this shit. I'm too old to be running around trying to, play this game. And he was going to actually go and confront with Keanu once he got the confirmation. But they talked him into chilling. Thank you. They talked him into standing down. They were like, hold up, if you go and confront him, it's only going to make it worse. We got to play this smart. Now, to be fair, they still don't know that Riley was the one that voted rogue. But what we're not seeing, again, I don't watch a lot of the live feeds, but I watch enough. Like I said, I'm following a couple of accounts on TikTok. Baby, let me tell you something. Don't nobody in that house like Keanu. Like, they're editing it to make it look like Keanu and Jimmy got this big beef, when in all reality, nobody likes Keanu. So that's why they were telling Will, chill out, calm down. That's just gonna make it worse, because at the end of the day, don't none of us like Keanu. Okay. The other thing is, Keanu has worked everybody's nerve symmetry. If you look at the live feed, child, don't none of them like Keanu. Now, the other thing I want to say is this. I know we tried to give Ashley a pass because we were like, oh, that was bad editing. They made it look like Ashley took this 2-hour shower, this 2-hour long shower. And then they showed, when they were trying to do the POV, Ashley was the last one to show up and she was late. And they're like really trying to, it seemed like the editing was really trying to create this whole narrative on Ashley. Well, I take back everything I said about that. I take it all back. Because Ashley is exactly who they edited Ashley to be. Now, they may have exaggerated that situation, but again, Ashley is getting on everybody's nerve in the house because they said she's late to everything. Every time they have to do something, she's always the last person to get ready. They always have to wait for her. They said that Ashley doesn't do anything in the house. When it comes to cleaning, straightening up, they say she doesn't straighten up behind herself, much less contribute to the house being clean. When they ask her to wash dishes, she literally only washes her dishes. She doesn't wash anybody else's dishes. And then when there was a clip where Rachel asked her, Rachel was like, when you were growing up, were you responsible to do anything around the house? Now remember, Ashley is a whole married mama. So, I mean, not Ashley. Rachel is a whole married mama. So Rachel is keeping the house clean, straightening up. Like, she is in her mommy mode, right? So she asked Ashley, she was like, girl, were you responsible for doing anything growing up? And she was like, get good grades. She was like, but you didn't have to do anything. She was like, I mean, clean my room. Rachel was like, you didn't have to wash the dishes. You didn't have to clean, like, nothing. She was like, no. So Rachel asked her to mop the bathroom floor. And literally Ashley is, and I saw the clip, literally Ashley is standing there with a Swifter and just pushing the Swifter back and forth in the same spot. Like, she ain't putting no, as the folks used to say, elbow grease into it. She ain't moving it around the room. She ain't trying to get in them corners. And Rachel was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got it. I'll do the floor. Don't worry about it. And Rachel proceeds to literally get down on her hands and knees and scrub the bathroom floor. So Ashley goes outside and complains and plays victim and tells everybody that Rachel yelled at her because she wasn't on her hands and knees scrubbing the bathroom floor. Yeah. Ashley, you're exactly who we thought you were. And I take back what I said. Moving right along. So we get to the HOH competition. So the HOH competition is the let's crawl around in the dark competition. So they have to go down in the sewer, and it's explained to them that they're looking for pieces to fit into like a bucket, and then it's 3 powers plus the power veto. So you're looking for, not the power veto. You're looking for the HOH key, but you're also looking for these other shapes that that are symbol of the power. But you have to literally crawl around in this sewer in the dark. You don't know what you touching, yada yada yada. Can I tell you, Ava was me? Because baby, as soon as them lights went out, Ava was like, "I'm scared of the dark. I'm not doing this." She said, "I'm not. Nope, not doing it, baby." Ava found somewhere to sit down, and she sat her ass down, and she was like, "I'm not. This one just gonna have to pass me by. I'm not doing it." Nope. I wasn't mad at Ava. Now, in the grand scheme of things, girl, we need you to at least pretend like you're gonna play the game. But I understand her hesitance to crawl around in the dark and touch things that you know not of in the dark. Like, I understand the hesitance. Hold on, I forgot to write something in my notes. Hold on. But I want to write it down before I forget to say it. Y'all remind me. It's Keanu and Rachel's conversation, but I don't want to talk about it yet. So remind me if I forget to say it. Y'all remind me to talk about Keanu and Rachel's conversation. So, not if busy is for Ashley, then I'm automatically against her. Oh, don't do that. So anyway. So then so they're crawling around in the damn gutter or whatever. Rachel almost had HOH. And I'm mad because I picked Rachel to win HOH in the fantasy group, and I would have got like 30 extra points if Rachel had won HOH. But Rachel actually found 2 of the keys. She picked the bigger key when the right one was the smaller key, and she would have won HOH. But Jimmy ends up winning HOH. So Jimmy's HOH, and then Keanu wins one of the powers, right? We don't know what the power is yet, but he wins one of the powers. And then once he wins the power, he helps Zach to try and maneuver around to find a power. So Zach automatically knew that Keanu had won a power because he was like, why would he be trying to help me win a power if he didn't already have a power for himself? So Zach, that's smart, Zach. That was some good deductive reasoning. Anyway, Kelly found one of the powers, and Mickey found one of the. Is it Mickey or Mikey? Y'all know I'll be calling that girl the wrong thing. But Mikey found one of the powers. I'm kind of mad I got rid of Mikey, y'all, because I dropped Mikey and I swapped her out for Rachel. Because at first I wasn't going to swap nobody out for Rachel. But after Rachel showed her ass last week with Zay and all of that, I said, oh, Rachel done came in hot. So maybe go ahead and pick up Rachel. And last week, Mickey wasn't really doing nothing. So I was like, let me get rid of her. But I probably should have kept her because she got power this week. And it looks like her and Morgan are going to be trying to make a power move against Jimmy. But we're going to get to that in a second. Neither here nor there. So then it's Mickey. So I'm saying it right. Mickey. Her name is Mickey, right? VIP lady said it's Mickey. But Mickey and Mikey are spelled the same way. It's just pronounced different, right? Anyway. So, right, like the mouse, Mickey Mouse, Mickey. Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Okay. I had a question regarding Mickey's power when we get to it. Okay, cool. I'm about to get to it in a second. So Jimmy knows that Kelly has a power. Because once he got the POV, he stood close to where the buckets were, so he could kind of see who was getting the power, even though he couldn't see, hear, which was actually smart. And then Zach suspects that Mickey has a power because he heard her voice before they made the announcement that somebody got that power, and he was sitting near the buckets too. So he suspects it. Now, what we end up finding out is Keanu's power is he gets to get an extra person, a Big Brother vet, play for him in the veto competition. And if that person wins the veto or he wins the veto, then of course he gets the power veto. So he basically has an extra person playing for him for power veto. So that's his power. Kelly's power is she gets to play in a secret power of veto. If she doesn't win the first competition, she gets to play a second competition where she can win the power veto herself. So she has two chances. Mickey, see, I am saying Mickey, excuse me. Mickey's power is she basically gets to overthrow the HOH. But the caveat is the current HOH has an opportunity to interview everybody in the house, I think, for 3 minutes to see if they can figure out who the person with the power is. If they find out who the person with the power is, then if they guess correctly, they get their power back. And basically, Mickey has used her power for no reason. Now, out of all three of them people, that's the one person she should have never told anybody that power. Now, she ends up telling Morgan, I wouldn't have told nobody, because the fact that the head of household gets to interview people, baby, in this game, you can't trust nobody. You might be cool with Morgan this week, and next week you done piss Morgan off, or Morgan might feel like it's more advantageous to her game to snitch on you. Like, I wouldn't have told no. With that little caveat on your power, I wouldn't have told no damn body. Now, in Jimmy's even though Jimmy is getting on my nerves because Jimmy has got a little power hungry and he's doing a lot, and Jimmy's mean. Jimmy is a mean, rude person. Did y'all see when Jimmy was laughing at Rachel's clothes? Now, granted, Rachel's fashion style doesn't do it for me. I'm not crazy about Rachel's outfits and how she puts things together. But one thing I will say about Rachel is she is consistent and she is committed. Baby, Rachel has been wearing these crazy ass outfits her whole damn since we've known Rachel, and she is committed to her fashion aesthetic. I just felt like he was rude, laughing at her, and you could tell her feelings were hurt. Now you can really tell that Rachel's feelings were hurt, right? But I'm gonna tell you why they gave Jimmy a pass. And Cajun, Chuck, and my other LGBTQIA people don't um get mad at me when I say this. They give Jimmy a pass because he's a gay man. And there's that whole stereotype about gay men and fashion. So that's why they get, because if that had been any other man in the house that had laughed at her like that about her clothes, it would have been an issue. But because he's a gay man, they gave him a pass. And I honestly feel like that's why, because it's the whole, gay man fashion stereotype thing. That's my opinion. Y'all can disagree with it, but that's how I felt. But it was rude and it was mean. Like, you can tell somebody that their fashion style isn't your fashion style without being rude about it. But anyway, moving right along. So the one thing I will give Jimmy credit for, though, Jimmy was like, I want to flesh out these powers. Now, he tried to bully his way through fleshing out the powers, but he was like, I want to flesh out these powers. Like, I want people to use these powers and get them out the way. And so I want to know who has them. So he knew that Kelly had a power. Of course, he didn't know what the power was, but he knew she had a power. And I think she did end up telling him what the power was, but it's Kelly, child. Put Kelly to the side. They suspected that Keanu had the power, but of course they still didn't know what it was. And Jimmy was going to put Keanu up anyway. I feel like Jimmy was going to put Keanu up whether he thought he had a power or not. So Kelly's going up on the block. Keanu goes up on the block. And then he chooses Adrian to put Adrian up on the block. Why? Don't know. He said Adrian is a pawn, but like Adrian said, baby, I do this. I am a super fan for real, for real. I have a whole competition playground in my backyard to practice for this. Like, I know that pawns go home. So I don't want to be nobody's pawn, especially knowing that at least one of the people on the block with me got this secret power that I can't combat. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. So basically everybody's running around the house trying to figure out who has these powers. Keanu tells Vince that he has a power. Mickey told Morgan that she had a power. And of course, like I said, Jimmy already knew that Kelly had a power. So we get to the POV ceremony. Oh, I'm sorry. So when Jimmy nominates those three, him and Keanu get into it because Keanu puts his sunglasses on and puts his head back like he's sleeping, he's snoring or whatever. And the two of them get to going at it. Again, maybe it's sexual situation. I don't know, child, whatever they got going on. But again, like I said, everybody in the house is irritated with Keanu. They're just not editing it that way. They're making it look like it's Jimmy and Keanu when it's really Keanu versus everybody. But okay. So then sorry. So y'all know I got so many notes here. I was on the wrong page of my notes. Okay. Kenny Kelly. Okay. So that's where we are. So that was the end of episode 5. So let's get into episode 6. So beginning of episode 6, we see the argument between Keanu and Jimmy. They're going back and forth. Who cares? I said that Keanu tells Vince. Some of my notes, y'all know some of this overlaps, child. Now, Kathleen and who's that other girl, child? The other white girl that nobody really paying attention to. They are getting kind of close. But Kathleen is not stupid. She said, listen, I mean, I'm cool with her and I'm going to ride with her as long as it's advantageous to me. But I'm not stupid and I understand that if it comes down to the final two, Lauren, thank you. And it comes down to the final two, if it's me against her, I feel like everybody's going to choose her over me. So, I mean, I'll hold on to her until she ain't no more good to me. I ain't mad at you, Kathleen. See, that's why I picked Kathleen up for my team. Even though Kathleen not really making a whole lot of waves right now, I feel like she got it in her. I feel like she's a slow burn. I feel like she got it in her. Okay. So Morgan and Mickey are irritated with Jimmy because because basically Jimmy is not consulting them. They're supposed to have this triple threat alliance and Jimmy is not talking to them about anything. Jimmy is not talking to anyone. Catherine, I'll call her Kathleen. I'm sorry, Catherine. Jimmy is not consulting his alliance when it came time for nominations. And now that he has to, he has to think about possible replacements because he knows that Keanu. Oh, hold on. Am I getting ahead of myself? But they're frustrated. They feel like he's not including them, and they feeling some kind of way about it. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing. It'll be after he's no longer HOH, obviously, but they definitely see that he's power hungry and that basically this isn't really an alliance. Like, he just wants them to have his back. He just wants them for numbers, but he's not interested in having a true equal alliance. Oh, I know why I'm out of order, because never mind. So that's down the line. That was after the part. Let me get back to my notes. Okay. I know why I jumped ahead. Never mind. I know why I jumped ahead. Okay. So the veto ceremony. So as Jimmy is doing his veto ceremony, you know, he's being all theatrical and stuff. He's wearing the HOH robe. You know, he's doing a lot. And I was thinking to myself, did you not see Celebrity Big Brother? And did you not see old boy act a fool when he had HOH and did the whole "I'm gonna wear the robe all day long, every day" thing? Like, did you not see that? Sir, go sit down somewhere. So he so just as he is going through decorate pick names for the nomination, Keanu was like, no, we're only picking one name for the nomination because I'm using my power. And that's when the house finds out that his power is a Big Brother vet is going to come into the game, play, and he has an opportunity, 2 opportunities to win veto. Can we jump Jimmy in the corner? I'm sick of him and Ashley. Child. So he trying to be Dustin 2.0. Child. So of course they build up this anticipation of who's coming in, what's the vet, who's the vet, who's the vet. Baby, the vet ends up being Casey. Now, I knew then, I said, oh, well, we might as well go ahead and just give Keanu that damn veto. Because between Keanu, who's definitely a physical competitor, and Casey, who was like the queen of veto comps during the season that she won. Plus, we know that Casey has stayed in shape and competitive because she's on the season she's on the challenge every damn season. I was like, oh, yeah, this about to be a whole situation. I thought it might be Brendan. I was like, if it's Brendan, that would be great. Like, if they bring Brendan in, that would have been hilarious. But Brendan wouldn't have been able to focus. Rachel wouldn't have been able to focus. And it really wouldn't have been fair because Keanu wouldn't child. So, of course, Casey wins. Now, did Casey really truly win, or was it edited for Casey to win? Who knows? Who cares? But Casey wins. So, Keanu now has the veto. And oh yeah, definitely, Chuck. Absolutely. Casey is she is a huge lesbian. Okay. So now they have to figure out who the replacement is going to be. Jimmy decides, and this is when Jimmy had the conversation with Mickey, and that's why I got ahead of myself. And Mickey, I love what Mickey said. Mickey was like, well, listen, you're the HOH, it's your decision. I respect your decision. If Jimmy had any level of self-awareness, he would have heard what Mickey was saying without saying it. Because she didn't say it with any level of sarcasm. She didn't say anything, but she would have heard what was being said without it being said. Jimmy didn't hear none of that. Jimmy just went on back to what he was doing. So Jimmy decides that he's going to put up Will and Amy, because he was like, well, basically it's the least amount of blood on his hands. So my problem is this. Jimmy, you talk a big game. You talk all this shit. You act like you are the hardest person in the house. You don't play no games. You swinging hard. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. But when you have an opportunity to take a swing at somebody that could potentially be a danger to you in your game, you pick Will and Amy. Amy, who was on the block last week, so you figure it's the least amount of blood because, oh, well, she was already on the block. It's no big deal. And Will, who y'all know they always go for the older person. They always, feel like they're low-hanging fruit. They're the easy one to pick off. So when you had an opportunity to take a swing, you didn't. So what I don't want to hear, Jimmy, is you talking shit next week with whoever the HOH is next week, or the week after that, or the week after that, about how they're not making any big moves and how they're not taking any chances. Because you, sir, had the opportunity to put up a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And out of those 5 people, the only swing you took, which still wasn't putting any blood on your hands, was Keanu. Because like I said, nobody likes Keanu anyway. They're not editing it that way, but nobody likes Keanu. So you have not taken any swings. You have not made any hard decisions, sir. So we get to the veto ceremony. Keanu obviously uses the veto to save himself. And then Jimmy is getting ready to put a replacement up. And Kelly was like, I'm going to go ahead and use my power too. And so she gets to play in an extra veto comp. Now, is it me? Or was that comp that Kelly had to play, was that not like an underhanded toss? Like, and I get it, everybody isn't a puzzle person, and maybe people crack under pressure. But I was sitting here like, if she don't get this shit, she don't deserve it. Like, girl, if you don't get this, you don't deserve this. So anyway, Kelly wins the veto, and he puts up Will. So of course, Will is pissed off because Will knew that he was going to go up as a replacement. And Amy was like, the fuck? Like, why me? I'm not bothering nobody. I'm not winning nothing. What is the problem? And again, it's Big Brother, so at any point in time, anybody can get it. So that's not a big deal. But I'm just sitting here like, Jimmy, sir, nobody respects this. Like, because Keanu was trying to get him to put up Rachel. Now, he was like, well, I mean, I know I was trying to come for Rachel, but I mean, I think Rachel can be helpful to me. I think Rachel can be good for my game. No, you just scared to take a swing at the queen. And to be honest, this is the best. You don't have right now, he shouldn't go for Rachel because he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers for Rachel. But there are other people, Ashley. You might have the numbers for Ashley. But it just seemed like low-hanging fruit. It really seemed like low-hanging fruit. Even your first people that you picked was low-hanging fruit. And once Keanu took himself off the block, you had no plan B. And if you had been working with your alliance, and I know it's only 2 other people, and you have 2 alliances, Jimmy. You have a big alliance, which includes Rachel and them. You didn't really consult any of them either. Had you worked with one of your alliances, you might have been able to get the numbers to get somebody else out. But because you went for Keanu and Keanu took himself off the block, now you don't have a plan B and you haven't cultivated any of these relationships. So anybody you put up now is really just going to be a free-for-all, and whoever campaigns the hardest, because what the fuck? Like, bruh. So are the games selected ahead of time? I don't know, Lock Queen. I'm sure they already have the games they're going to play, but in what order are they going to play them? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Okay, so the other thing I was going to say is that's another reason why, Mickey, you should have never told anybody your power, because now everybody knows there's only 1 power left in the house, right? 2 out of the 3 powers were used. So there's only 1 power left in the house. And not only do they not know what that power is, had you not told anybody, they wouldn't even know who had it. The only thing they would know is that it wasn't Kelly, it wasn't Keanu, and it wasn't Jimmy. But that leaves a house full of people. Well, they also know that it's not Will and it's not Amy, if they could have used it. Because to be honest, they may not have been able to, depending on what the power is, they may not have been able to use it. But you know for certain that those 4 people don't have the power. And I understand that right now you and Morgan are in a good place, but I just wouldn't have told Morgan shit. Morgan wouldn't have known shit. I would have been sitting there like, who? I'd have been like, Portia, who did that? Who got that? Who said that? But it is what it is for right now. It's not biting you in the butt yet. Now, the other thing that came up that I did want to talk about was this conversation between Keanu. Right, it's not right. It's not Adrian either. Right. Keanu and Rachel. So Rachel asked Keanu, "Did you look at my season?" Keanu was like, "No, I just looked at the highlights." So the highlights that he brought up are highlights that Rachel didn't feel like were her highlights. Now, I think it's a combination between two things. Oh, and I love the way that Mickey was hyping up Will. Like, what you're not gonna do is sit here. You're not gonna sit here and being down in the dumps. You're not gonna do no woe is me. We're gonna get our asses out there. We're gonna work this house and we're gonna keep you here. I love that for you, Mickey. I love that for you, Mickey. And he lied to Rachel. What he lied about? Tell me what he lied about, Nubian, because you might know something I don't know, baby. So he brings up things that Rachel found to be embarrassing. He did not bring up Rachel's highlight reel, right? So Rachel gets up with an attitude. And he's like, "What did I do?" She was like, "You think I don't know what you're doing?" He told Rachel he did not have a power. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he lied. Well, he lied. I listen, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm not mad about that kind of stuff because it's Big Brother and you ain't supposed to tell nobody. And he didn't have an alliance with Rachel. So him lying to Rachel about the power, I'm not mad at anybody lying about stuff like that. But especially if that's not somebody you working with. He ain't working with Rachel. Him and Rachel ain't working together. So, but Rachel gets up and she's huffing and puffing and she's mad because she was like, "Why would you bring up the stuff that was embarrassing to me? Why would you bring up the stuff where somebody's talking about, I don't know how to use a sentence without saying like and like, why didn't you bring up floaters, get your life vest?" Like, that is like, I see what you're doing. You're trying to push my buttons. You're trying to irritate me. Now, I'm going to be honest and tell y'all, I see both sides of this coin. Keanu really didn't know who you were. Keanu is not a super fan. Keanu did not study this game. So I believe him when he says all he did was look at highlight reel. I believe that. Rachel, this is typical Rachel though. Rachel is sensitive as fuck. And Rachel thinks that everything is a personal attack against her. It's not that deep, Rachel. The man told you he didn't watch the season. The man told you all he watched was the highlight reel. But that was pretty much those two episodes, y'all. So tonight is the live eviction. So either Will, Amy, or Adrian are going home. Now they have one last battle off the block. And I'm gonna be honest, I hope Will wins that so he can come off the block. Because I do think that if Will is still on the block, they're just gonna vote him off because he is the easy choice. And I think they're just gonna vote him off. We know that Amy has an alliance behind her that's strong. Rachel and the crew are strong. I don't know who the hell Adrian has. Will think he has this Burger Boy alliance, but hell, they couldn't even get their vote straight the first week, much less now. So, did you catch Keanu and Jimmy were booed up? Huh? I don't know nothing about that. Thank you, Cruiser. I don't know nothing about that, Chuck. Well, to be fair, they didn't send a black person home first this time. Zay went home first. He not black. So, I'm going to try and stay awake long enough to live chat in the app. I'll have to catch the replay where it calls. I understand. Well, we about to get off of here, child. So that was pretty much that. Now, listen, as for the rest of today, I don't know what the schedule for the rest of today is looking like. I'm about to take a break. I'm about to give me something to eat and take a break or whatever. El Teddy's going live at 5. So I'm not sure what's going to happen after 5. But keep your notifications on. That's all I can tell you. I still have to get caught up on Next Gen NYC. As far as doing a live review, Next Gen NYC and Love and Marriage Huntsville. We may or may not do a tribe meeting today. I know Hulk Hogan died today, but I really don't give a fuck. I mean, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Somebody lost their life, and so for that I care, but I don't care. And I really don't think it's too much more going on. So I may just do 2 more live reviews so I can get caught up, and then we can get to divorced wives and divorced sisters, whatever shit is called. And I can get caught up on Beyond the Gates. So, I'm not doing a tribe meeting because I got the panel at 7:00 for Miami. So no. So we'll be back at 7:00 on JB's channel for Real Housewives of Miami. So after that, I may or may not do another live. I might be done after that, y'all. I'm tired. This is my 3rd time live today. So I may not. What I might do is I might do a pre-record because I did watch episode 5 of Divorce Sisters. I just never did the video. So I may do that and then upload that. Anyway, thank y'all for rocking with me today. This is our 3rd time live. Thank y'all for who've been here all 3 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And with that, I'm out of here. Mwah. Oh, no, I'm not doing the King's Court. I'm not doing it. I don't care nothing about them. All right, y'all. Peace.